We're going to make sure that everything that's been previously swept under the rug is made public.
10 months. That's how long a former sports psychologist with the San Antonio Spurs says it took the organization to listen to her indecency complaints against basketball player Joshua Primo.
The former Spurs player was booted from the team last week after allegations of indecent exposure. But in a press conference today, we've learned this has been an ongoing battle. RJ
Marquez has the timeline and why that alleged 10-month wait will likely play a crucial role in the case.
This lawsuit was filed on behalf of Dr. Hillary Cawthon and names the Spurs and Josh Primo as the defendants. Cawthon says that the Spurs knew about these allegations for months and did not take any corrective action. In the lawsuit, Cawthon claimed Primo exposed himself a total of 9 times during their private sessions. She first told the organization in late December 2021, and in January she requested a meeting with General Manager Brian Wright, but the lawsuit claims that meeting was postponed until March. The lawsuit states Spurs officials told Cawthon the organization would take action, and she was allowed to work from home and stop traveling with the team, but she was ultimately asked to continue to meet with Primo. By June, she felt no disciplinary action would be taken, and the Spurs ultimately did not renew her contract in August.
I spoke up. I asked for help. I gave options. My voice and my feelings, my actionable items were silenced. Due to their inaction and protection of their assets, other individuals were impacted, and for that, I am truly sorry.
William Briggs is Josh Primo's lawyer. He released a statement to KSAT in response to the lawsuit, saying in part that his client is, quote, being victimized, and that, quote, Josh Primo never intentionally exposed himself to her or anyone else. And you could read the full statement from Josh Primo's attorney right now on KSAT.com. And coming up at 6 o'clock, we will talk more about potential criminal charges against Josh Primo and also what that lawsuit said about head coach Greg Popovich. That's all coming up at 6 o'clock on KSAT 12 News. Reporting in Houston, RJ Marquez, KSAT 12 News.
Should be interesting, RJ. Thank you. And just a few hours after that explosive news conference in Houston, Spurs CEO R.C. Buford issued his own statement. He said, quote, "We disagree with the accuracy of facts, details, and timeline presented today. While we would like to share more information, we will allow the legal process to play out."
He then continued with, "Our organization remains committed to upholding the highest standards and will continue to live by our values and culture."
Spurs front office facing accusations today of covering up the actions of former player Joshua Primo.
As RJ Marquez reports, a former team employee is now suing the Spurs front office and Primo after she claimed Primo exposed himself to her multiple times during therapy sessions.
It took the Spurs 10 months to do the right thing. That's too long. My hope is that all who hear can learn from this.
Dr. Hillary Cawthon speaking publicly for the first time about allegations against former Spur Josh Primo. Cawthon claims in a lawsuit filed today in Bexar County that Primo exposed himself to her 9 times during individual sessions dating back to December.
I asked for help. I gave options. My voice and my feelings, my actionable items were silenced. Due to their inaction and protection of their assets.
The lawsuit states Cawthon reported Primo's alleged actions to the Spurs in January and met with General Manager Brian Wright in March. But by July, she was frustrated with the team's inaction. The lawsuit says she was allowed to work from home and stop traveling with the team, but she was ultimately asked to continue to meet with Primo. The Spurs did not renew her contract this past August.
The right thing is saying, no, this is not okay. To hold people accountable, to make systemic change, and to protect those that suffer in silence.
Houston-based attorney Tony Busby filed the lawsuit against the Spurs and Primo, claiming the organization ignored Cawthon's repeated reports of indecent exposure.
Organizations can no longer choose what they call their assets, that is, players like Mr. Primo, over people. Hiding conduct like this isn't acceptable.
In a statement at KSAT 12, Josh Primo's lawyer said in part that his client is being victimized and that he never intentionally exposed himself to her or anyone else. Now, Busby told us earlier today that he would file a criminal complaint against Josh Primo and expects charges. Now, as far as head coach Greg Popovich, Cawthon said that she was told that Pop was made aware of the allegations in June, but by then she felt that no action would be taken. Reporting in Houston, RJ Marquez, KSAT 12 News.
Now, the Spurs organization released their first public statement since that lawsuit was filed, saying, quote, "We disagree with the accuracy of the facts, details, and timeline presented today. While we would like to share more information, we will allow the legal process to play out. Our organization remains committed to upholding the highest standards and will continue to live by our values and culture," end quote.